Hari Om everyone. Welcome to our Sadhana Panchakam class. We'll begin with some opening prayers and then chant Sadhana Panchakam and see today's verse by verse explanation. Om Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavidvaram. Otherwise, you can see a copy of it online. Sadhana Panchakam, the roadmap to spiritual practices. We'll be chanting now the first and the second verses. Vedo nityamadhiyatam tarudidam karma svanushthiyatam eneshasya vidhiyatam apachitihi kavye matisyajyatam pamokah parithuyatam bhavasukhe doshonusandhiyatam atmechhavyavasiyatam nijagrahat purnam vinigamyatam satsang sangas satsu vidhiyatam bhagavatah bhaktir dridhadhiyatam shanyani parichiyatam kridataram karmashu santyajyatam sadvidvanupasripyatam pratidinam tatpadukasedyatam brahmaikaksharamanyanaam shrutishilah vakyam samakarnyatam. All right. What we're seeing is a wonderful text, as I mentioned, which outlines all the various practices we have in Sanatana Dharma, which from the outside looks like a labyrinth. So many different types of activities that various members of Hinduism are involved in. Some go on long pilgrimages, some fast, some do pranayama, some do japa, some sing bhajan, some come to satsang, some study the scriptures, some do meditation, some engage only in deep vichar, means spiritual study, adhyayan, and reflection, vichar. Some serve gurus simply, some go and serve the mandir, some serve society, some sacrifice themselves in the service to humanity. Others do panditai work. So many pandits are there. There's such a large variety, and that's just the tip of the iceberg of the variety we have in Hinduism. Then each one of us find us in the stream of that Sanatana Dharma that has been passed down from the Himalayas for centuries. Since as old as the hills, actually. Centuries is just recent. For tens of thousands of years it's been passed down. How to understand it, our place in it, what is supposed to be gained by each step, how to break it down. This is one great service that has been done by Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya through this short little text of 5 verses called Sadhana Panchakam. So we are now in the second verse, and these classes are being posted online to YouTube at some later time. Where internet is good enough, we'll record and post these onto YouTube so people can go back and see. So where we have left it, at the beginning of the second verse, Sangha Satsu Vidhiyatam, that's what we saw last time, 2 weeks ago. And that is an instruction now for the seeker to find themselves always in the company of good, of the right people. Which is a very simple and ordinary instruction that anybody can follow. Make sure we find ourselves in the right group of like-minded people. That is required for any accomplishment, even in the what you call startup industry, where you have so many people who want to launch their business. They get together at exhibitions or at conferences, or they work in the same office area, and they share resources for printing and IT and all that, so they can all help each other. So even in an ordinary business way, people of like-mindedness have to get together to make progress. So it is not hard for us in an ordinary way to understand that if I want to make progress on the spiritual path, I must be spending time with the right group. As opposed to, you can't not hang out with the bad boys in the village and expect that a little bit of what goes on there rubs off on you. We cannot hang out with Ali Baba and the 40 thieves and think that we will remain a sadhu. When we go out and experience things in the world, there also we must know, we go out at nighttime and walk about the streets and all that. That is fine. You do it with a nice group of people from the mandir, for instance. You go for a walk in the village, or you go for a walk in town. But other things will be going on there. So you're going to naturally, you're going to be associated with that. That's going to be associated with you. So this is the general instruction. But really at the root of that thing, if you study, it is not only the company of undesirable ideas and practices and that type of thing that has an effect on a person. It is the companionship with that company. Because many people complain, oh, my son or myself, I was a great person until I started hanging out with the wrong group. But nobody ever asks because it's not nice. But the question stands. If we are such great people, then when we started hanging out with the wrong group, how come they didn't become great and we became bad? Well, 2 people are hanging out. One is great and one is not so great. So how come the not so great didn't become great? How come it always goes the other way? It means to say, honestly, if we take a good survey of our own heart, we have all the seeds of undesirable or low traits in us, and they get watered and nurtured and grown through association with people who have those qualities. So taking a true stock of what I have in my heart, I stick to the good. I water and nurture the good in myself. Very aware that if I hang out with the wrong group, the other thing will come up. We'll start talking, saying those type of words and all that type of thing. You can tell very quickly, a child when you meet them, even by the age 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, what type of language they use in the house, what type of music they listen to in the house, what type of food they eat in the house. It is all very much displayed there in the child. And the child doesn't understand language, he doesn't understand all what's going on and what's going on outside the house and all that, but it leaves an impression. This actually speaks to another wonderful point, the power of association with the good. In our tradition, if we want to produce good children, a fundamental aspect of that is the passing on of values. And the perennial question that gets asked at all the mandir conferences, at all the teacher conferences in public school, at every forum of concerned citizens, is how do we make sure the next generation, even in public conferences with ministers and all of that. They go on saying, well, we have to deal with this scourge on society and that other thing that's happening in society, whether it be drinking or abuse or gambling or introduction of drugs to children at a young age, and all the things that are going on in society we see all the time. How to deal with that and ensure that the next generation has a heroic heart that can face the temptation and say, no, I don't want to be a vessel for that. I want to be a fit vessel for Sanatana Dharma, for the perpetuation of good in society. I want to let these ills end in my generation. We want to create such strong heroes at heart. So how do we pass on such values? Everyone knows that the strength of a society depends on the strength of character of each individual in that society. Just like the strength of a building depends on the individual strength and character of each brick. Huh? So great talks happen in all such forums. But finally, it boils down to what? It boils down, finally, to the impressions that are passed on to the child in the home. And then the perennial question becomes, as I started with this, how? How do you pass on those impressions to the children in the home? Well, Sanatana Dharma has been sharing one consistent message. And that has been always that values are not taught, values are caught. Put in the words of the great Rishi Swami, Chinmayanandaji, values are what? They're not taught, they're caught. Meaning to say that a child picks up, absorbs, receives an impression based on the values acted out by those around, especially the mother and then the father. Huh? So just like how the next generation of lions in the forest, who are recognized as the king of the jungle, is formed by the lioness with her cubs. It is the lioness that produces the next lion. It is all, for all great men and women that are there in society, most times they recognize that, there was a great mother and then father in the household that produced this great man or woman. So we see it happening out in nature, we see it happening out when we see all the great people and we trace back their history. We must take this message that by association and companionship with us, wherever we may be, the next generation picks up those values. It's not by what we say, and not just by what we do, but how we do it, what we actually value and look forward to and are seeking and our intent. That is what is caught by the children. I witnessed, as many of you will have seen, a little baby learning to cough imitation for the first time. Make an imitation cough. This child, not yet 2, watching her father, watching Papa, and just looking away as though not paying attention. And a few moments later, for the first time ever, intentional fake cough. No words were passed. The child can't even understand words. Yet, by just the presence of an example, it evoked a possibility inside. The presence of a true example evoked. In the same way, in the presence of great saints and sages, for instance, many people attest that the karuna and the true and selfless concern and sacrifice that great saints and sages stand for, epitomize. When a person engages with that, it opens up a degree of compassion and love and soft-heartedness that to date a person didn't even know they could feel. Just by the mere association, new possibilities are blossoming in the heart of the individual. This is the impact of association. Likewise, the other way. You may not be an angry person. You may not feel like a victim in life generally. But you and I spend enough time with the angry person sitting on the couch, blaming everybody, feeling like a victim. And before you know it, you and I suddenly have, I never felt anger like this before, I also feel anger and blame. New possibilities evoked. In the modern language with children, you say, new level achieved. Like in a game, new level achieved. So if you want to achieve new levels of emotional maturity and intellectual clarity also, we must spend time in association with good, companionship with the good, and the explanations related to by such people who live that good. According to the degree from which knowledge comes, to that degree it goes inside another person. So now this is a true thing demonstrated by saints and sages. One mother went to Mahatma Gandhi ji to tell, "Oh Gandhi ji, please tell my little boy to not eat so much sweets. Anytime I turn my head away, he just go and find sweets somewhere and eat. I have a problem." Gandhi ji said, "Okay, Amma, mother, Ma, come back in 1 month." Now she had to make a trek, take time off to come and meet Gandhi ji. But still, out of respect, she said, okay, I'll come back. She certainly did come back 1 month later, and Gandhi ji picked up the boy and whispered to him and talked to him, and they laughed a little bit, and whatever was conversed there, when he went back home, the boy said, "I'll try now. I definitely don't have to eat so many sweets." The mother was so touched. You could see the tears welling up in her eyes. She took a moment to go back to Gandhiji and ask. Something was itching her curiosity. She asked, "Oh Gandhiji, thank you so much. But answer this one thing. Why did you ask me to come back 1 month later? Why couldn't you have said this the first time?" Gandhiji replied straight and simple. He explained, "Ma, when you had come 1 month ago, I also was eating too many sweets. So how will I tell this little boy not to eat?" I could tell. He means to say I could tell. But he knows it's not going to do anything. It'll just make the mother happy for a little while. According to the depth, it comes from the person speaking. To that degree, it goes into the person's heart. This is another way to put the same thing. The values are caught from individuals who live it. So the real treasures in our society are those silent examples who are walking the walk. Find such people, find such groups, and spend time. This is a tremendous and important step in sadhana. It is called satsang. Even Bhagavan Shiva in Ramcharitmanas, he also prays. He doesn't pray for anything else. He prays for satsang. So if Bhagavan Shiva himself, Maheshwara, wishes for such association, it shows that it is not any small sadhana. To go and spend time as a child, if there is some great exemplary sevak in the village, or some exemplary Hindu leader, or some exemplary anybody who doesn't have selfishness in mind, send your children to just spend free time with them. And you yourself also go and companionship. I was mentioning last time, for those who are here, this is a bit of repetition, but I think for those who are listening now for the first time, it might be useful to know the difference between company and companionship. You can have a roommate who's there, you pass each other, but you don't really know what they're doing, and if you know what they're doing, you don't also do it with them. But it doesn't take much for that to change and become companionship. What it requires. One boy would go to the bus stop every day, and there was a set of fellas who don't go home from school at that bus stop. They just sit under that little machan there and play dominoes and gaff, and then as people go, then they smoke something, they gaff, and then after some more people go, they pull something out of the bag and just drink, like that. And then after most people gone, then they just get on the bus and go. So that's a little hangout after school. So one boy passing every day And they call him over. One day the bus was late. Come sit down. Why are you standing over there for? We don't bite. So he went to sit. Now that's just company, eh? That bus was very irregular. So many days he went to sit with them. After some time they started to say, well, here, take 7 dominoes, play one game and let me see if you can play. So what harm is that? I just playing dominoes, I'm not drinking and smoking and all that. I just playing dominoes. So I start to play dominoes for a little bit. Then he laughs at the joke and this, they tease him and having fun. Then they say, well, try this. You're already playing dominoes, you'll see how much more fun, how much more hands you're going to make if you try one of this. So, now he's doing that. Then, well, you know how it goes. He become the best of them. He was passing them every day in their company at the camping. But as soon as a person started to make companionship, that is when all the association happens. He could have very well said, no, I go home. And since I can't go home, to go home and open my books, I'm going to sit here and open my books. Why don't you come here and see what I read in here? I tell you, this thing is very enjoyable. He could have gone the other way. So, this is the exact point. Spend time in companionship with those who actually engender good qualities. Essentially, the mind should be associating with the higher reality, with the good, noble qualities, or with those practices that take us there, or even in those places where such things are encouraged. All of that will qualify as satsang. Very much so, even listening wherever you might be, at home, in the car, at a bus stop today, and you've tuned in on Facebook, this is also very much that same satsang. Right, so seek that atmosphere and seek those people who exemplify those qualities. Then, the next one, which we chanted already, Bhagavataha gadhadhiyatam. In addition to spending such time, a person should also develop devotion to God. Now this is a very interesting topic, and it requires thought. Some things in life don't require that much thought. When the doctor says, take this pill, take this antibiotic, you'll be better. Right? Eat it with food, take it 3 times a day, take it after breakfast or whatever. You don't have to give much thought to that. You just follow the prescription and go and you'll get the result. But other things in life require thought. In chapter 18 of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna gives different things that the intellect must spend time on to be considered bright and noble and pure. The person must think about what leads to fear, what leads to independence, fearlessness, what leads to attachment, and what leads to detachment, bandha moksha, and freedom. What ought to be done by me, what ought not to be done? When should I rest? When should I work? The path of work involves what? The path of inner work. And quietude, that requires what? Which is what we're studying here in Sadhana Panchakam. The steps towards that inner strength and quietude and peace and balance and freedom and joy and cheerfulness and keeping my happiness in my own pocket. That's the spiritual path. Of course, you have to also study how to get up early and go do work and, work efficiently and effectively in life. How to hit the 6, you have to know if that's your work. Hit the 6 in whatever your field may be. So both nivritti, the path inside, and pravritti, the path outside. So like this, I'm just listing things to point out there are things in life which deserve thought. A person should think about certain things. And bhakti is one such thing that we all must spend time thinking about. Which is interesting because most people think bhakti, devotion, is spending time and letting our heart burst out in song and love and tears should fall from our eyes. And so people who don't have that type of personality, they don't cry very often, so well, I don't have anything to do with that. I don't even cry in the first place. How I go cry for God? Bhakti is not for me. So this is a very important thing in Sanatana Dharma. Really speaking, devotion requires thought. You have to reflect on it. So let us think a little bit about the love in our heart. Anyways, this is what human beings should be doing, thinking, because we have an intellect. So love. Bhakti, basically, everyone knows about. nobody doesn't have it. Even though we think we don't have much love, and nobody is bereft of this. You might be low in terms of knowledge. When you shake, you hear things rattle around. There's so much space in there. But when it comes to the heart never rattles around. If we are stone-hearted, that's because the intellect has too much stone. Everybody's heart is soft. This is true of all beings. And it can be seen very easily because we have spent our love freely in the world. We have so much of it. Think for a moment about how many things we love. If you're listening from Burmese, well, you love all the other Burmesians. If you're in Georgetown, well, you just like people from Georgetown. You just talk differently about, well, people from Georgetown are my people. But people from the other side of the coast and all, not my people. So you make a division. I like these, I don't like these. In Trinidad, people in Trinidad, some of them say, we don't like them people in Tobago because they don't like us. People in Tobago say, no, we like them in Tobago, but we don't like them in Trinidad. And everybody has their own division. I'm not making divisions. I'm telling you what people say. Leave divisions among people. Even among foods. How many people like cookies? Some people like soft, chewy. Some people like crispy. Some people like chocolate chunks. Some people like, no, I like a little currant, something sweet and soft. I like that. So many different varieties can be there of love for a simple thing like cookie, and then you go to every other dessert, cake, fruit cake, angel cake, sponge cake, fruit-filled cake, and on. And that's just cake. So we all have, I like this one more than this one. I love this one. I don't love that one. Correct or not? So there's no end, if you look carefully, at the love that we have invested in the world. And that is love, certainly. That emotion of joy comes when I remember cheesecake. And I want to be with it. I'm not saying you respect cheesecake, but love is there. So, observe intellectually that my love itself, is invested in the world, and it is restricted to certain objects and people and situations. And the ones that are outside of that, I don't love as much, or at all. Sometimes we don't love people because we think they don't love us. I was fine. When I heard that so-and-so said this person don't like me, now I started not like that person. So our love becomes restricted because they restrict it. Our love is restricted by what we like and what we don't like. This is the current situation. Right? Now, that kind of love is not called bhakti. That kind of love. When the same emotion of love is not restricted by our likes and dislikes. By, I like this thing, I don't like that thing. Such love is called bhakti. Say that again. What is that? When I love all the things around, no matter what it is I see, who I see, what situation I'll be in, but my first response is one of love. That is called bhakti. That is what is being encouraged in this verse. When it is said, develop bhakti. It doesn't mean, just develop love for your Ishta Devata, whichever form of Bhagavan you like. But exclude now all the other forms of the Devatas, exclude all the other people who come to worship in the mandir, exclude all the other mandirs and the other types of Hindu organizations. I don't love those people and those organizations. I just love my mandir here and my Bhagavan. And to hell with everybody else. That's not bhakti, even though Bhagavan is involved. When I say that is not bhakti, what I mean to say, let me correct that is not the full and complete expression of bhakti as it is imagined as a spiritual practice. That is just the beginning. That is the green banana. That's not ripe banana. That's green bhakti. That's not ripe bhakti, which is delicious and sweet and nourishing, is that where whatever I see, whomever I see, there is an equal feeling of love. What is very confusing about this sadhana, it can be very confusing, because the request here of the sadhaka is now to take the love that you have invested in, restricted to a few things, and begin the practice of investing it in all things. Immediately, the question will be, well, what about all the things I don't like? How will I love those things? I can't go and hug the cobra. I don't like a cobra, it is bite. How I will love cobra? I can't love all animals equally. So in this, the intellect has to appreciate something. The rishis have provided a great explanation for this type of natural question. What is that? They give two words. Yes, the rishis are encouraging you to love all creatures and beings equally. That is called sambandha, your relationship, the feeling. However, it does not demand that you treat all beings equally. You have to treat all beings naturally according to the way you must transact with them. So, for example, when a person goes to the zoo, and suppose they have a cobra there. Well, really, actually, once a cobra is nicely caged up and all that, how many people will go to see the cobra? So many. Because they love to see the cobra. And then right next to, well, they wouldn't put it next to. A few cages down, they might have a bunny rabbit. And there, they don't put the bunny rabbit in the cage. You can go, you can hold it, and see its little, it makes that little thing with the whiskers in its mouth, and you can stroke it like that, and you're allowed to hold it. So with the bunny rabbit, our transaction, our relation, our vivaha, our transactional relationship and how we interact, give and take with that being is one thing. And with the cobra, well, I have to allow from afar. Like that. So the idea is that I look out onto the world and see that all people, things, and situations that come in my life are equally pervaded with my Bhagavan. However, at the same time, I must quickly switch and relate to each person according to the form that my Lord is taking. Like that. Children do this very well. My best of buddy, if I'm playing tag, children love tag, and every version of it. If I'm playing tag and I'm it, and my best of best friend is the one I'm chasing, and in some tag, you just don't tag, you have to wrestle them down and catch them and all that. Well, that best of my friend is eating dirt, correct? Because now you're on the other side, so now we fight. Or I chase you and I push you down and all that. Not out of hate. With great love I chase you. So my relationship saying the same. According to the situation, I relate to every being differently. Bhagavan manifests as the rishis, the great saints and sages, and our relationship with them is just one of pure service and learning and humility. He manifests as the devatas. There we invoke the devatas, and by service to them, the whole world gets benefit. Bhagavan manifests as other human beings. There we need humanity. It's called samanya dharma. We need humanity to work with other people, and then all the different political and economic structures are there for that. He manifests all the fauna and creatures and plants. There we have to serve to. They serve us, giving overflowing abundance, and we must protect and live softly on this earth. And where we can, support and help and rebuild and all that. So Bhagavan manifests in different ways, and then we offer our relationship in different ways. But it's one Bhagavan. This is the idea. Okay. Here I remember a great joke from our Acharya. First, let us think for a moment. Huh? To develop such love for Bhagavan in all forms, a person has to think deeply about this universe. Then love will start to come. And if we feel that I don't feel anything for nature really, like all the people who just go out and clean up the society and plant trees and want to go out and just listen to nature. I feel nothing. I would rather very much be at home in my concrete house watching the big screen TV with the AC on, and I don't want to hear anything about nature. So such a person who doesn't have any natural inherent love for nature can develop it through thinking. And whatever aspect of society you want to develop love for, it can be done through thinking. See, and nowadays it's very easy. There is a wonderful man called Epic Spaceman on YouTube. And he studies the mathematical calculations of this cosmos and tries to put it in visuals for people to see. One such visual he has is, I wonder how many galaxies there are in the observable universe. So what if we make each galaxy the size of some little, what you call? Elaichi. You know the little green elaichi that you use to make parsad and different delicious things? That little elaichi. What if each galaxy was that size? And we put all the galaxies in a swimming pool. Not a small swimming pool, not like the big one in Georgetown. A normal community-sized swimming pool. How many galaxies would fit in a swimming pool? A galaxy is what? When we look out into the night sky like today, that night sky we look at, all the stars mainly is in our galaxy. One cardamom, one elaichi ball. So how many of that are there in the universe? Our solar system with the 9 planets and the sun is one of thousands and more, billions of stars in this galaxy. And that's one part. How much of that are there in the universe? Well, he did the calculation. You know what she found? You have to fill 355 swimming pools, each to the top with them little elaichi. Each elaichi a galaxy. That is how much there is and what he can just see with telescopes. That's how much galaxies there are. And in each galaxy there are billions of stars. And each billions of those stars might have planets and moons and all that going around just like our single one. So that gives you an unimaginable scope of this universe. And nowadays science is studying deeply, and each one of them galaxies have stars. And those stars are nothing but an atomic bomb going on at a cosmic scale. That's how the sun is shining, because of atomic energy. Those atomic bombs, huge explosions in the sky, we call stars. All that energy, you go deep inside, well, it's just because they have a little molecule inside there. And that molecule has a basic field which we can't really put our finger on, out of which all that energy is coming out of. And the field of like space it is, a huge field out of which all the subatomic particles are formed, out of which all the stars and all that are blazing in the sky. That field is all pervasive. Think about how much power there is in that. So Bhagavan is just the amount, the size, the number, the power. It's unimaginable. And at the same time, as all that power is there in every iota of space of this universe, at the same time, Bhagavan manifests as a soft little raindrop that falls on the leaf and then flows over down to fall even more softly on the earth, not to disturb it, so it breaks into little pieces to water the fresh new shoot of the plant. So at the same time, it's just immense and powerful and overwhelming. Bhagavan is so soft, gentle, caring, to take care of every little lamp, every little plant and leaf. And I'm in that. So this is for someone who likes that type of physics and astrology and all of that. Astronomy, I mean. But if whatever you might study, if you're in school studying the body, or you're studying children, or whatever you're studying, if you study it well, a person will say, wow. And all the great scientists, they have all come to say, wow, this universe is something else. And I'm part of that. Many people get upset with Bhagavan without doing much thinking. Okay, Bhagavan, I hear you're so great, you're so powerful and all that. Give me $1 million now. One man went to Bhagavan and said, give me $1 million now. $1 million for you is like a cent, isn't it, Bhagavan? Bhagavan manifested, yes, I will. I will give you $1 million. He said, Bhagavan, first he said, Bhagavan, 1,000,000 years is like a second for you now. Bhagavan said, yes. And $1 million is like a cent to you now. Bhagavan said, yes. So then the man followed up. Well, give me a cent now. Bhagavan said, okay, wait a second. We go to Bhagavan, we plead with the powers that be in this universe for different things. I heard the most heart-warming explanation from Swami Tejo Mayananda, who we call Guruji in Chinmaya Mission. He answered somebody's question with so much truth, clarity, beaming in his eyes. The person asked, Guruji, does Bhagavan answer prayers? And Guruji said, yes, he does. But sometimes the answer is no. Bhagavan answers all prayers. Sometimes the answer is no means what? No means instead of this thing which you're asking for. Wait. I'll go and get something better and give it to you. Sometimes the answer is no. Wait. For a long time. Because Bhagavan doesn't want to give you something better, he wants to give you the best. And sometimes the answer is yes also. So no prayers go unheard in the universe. But they don't, because Bhagavan is not our wish fulfiller. He is our well-wisher. Bhagavan is not a genie or a Santa Claus. He is not a wish fulfiller. He is a well-wisher. So we don't know. People approach Bhagavan with all kinds of needs. Some for knowledge, some because we have pain, some because we want wealth, some because we want knowledge. It is true. It is said in Bhagavad Gita. All the different categories of people that approach Bhagavan. Some approach Bhagavan because they can't help it. Such people are the most dear to the Lord. But people approach him always. And it is not that prayers go unheard. But Bhagavan shouldn't be seen as a wish fulfiller. A person who understands the nature and grandeur of Sarva Shaktiman Bhagavan, the all-powerful, all-knowing Sarvagnya Bhagavan, that person sees, you know what? No matter what happens in my life, my appreciation for the role and the guidance and the blessings that are coming to me remains. That is called Dhrida Bhakti. People have bhakti for the nation. Devotion for something greater is called bhakti, as opposed to something where there's no restriction. So I was telling earlier, bhakti is when you see everything around and you have an equal sambandha, a relationship of love. If you restrict that little bit, some people have desha bhakti, it is called, love for the nation. So when the national anthem comes from a land of many waters, or the flag is raised, a person's skin crawls. They feel love for the nation. However, that is general. The moment we don't like the way that the leaders are running things, well then we change our attitude to our fellow man, and we forget our national duty and all this type of thing. Because I don't like them, so why should I serve them and the nation? I don't care about them. I just fight for my own. Some people are like that. So their love goes up and down. That's general bhakti. Here what is being asked of the individual is to practice, no matter what happens in the situation of the nation, who you like and you don't like as leadership, what you do and don't like and is, the lot of the nation at the time. There are types of people who are ready to sacrifice because they feel love for the land that has given them everything. There are such great heroes in every nation, in every nation's history. You have to see the heroes that are there in Bharat, it being the oldest nation and a civilization on the planet. They have collected tremendous stories of such men and women. So there are such people who, no matter what the situation comes in my nation, I'm not going to give up. I love my land. Like that, a person who has such love for whatever situation, person, circumstance, dispensed by the universe, recognizing it like it's prasad. You get prasad after doing worship, after doing puja in the mandir. You just get some. It used to be nice hot prasad from a bowl somebody put in your hand, and you feel the ghee afterwards. That prasad that we feel has come directly from the Lord after worship, that is the type of feeling they have for any situation that comes. Because the person knows Bhagavan might not be giving me what I want now, because in the future I have something better. If Bhagavan were to give every man what he asked for, you know what chaos we would be in also? Because one neighbor is praying that the other man's mango tree will die. And that neighbor is praying that this neighbor's house will burn down. Praying hard also. Bhagavan, please, remove this neighbor. He played music all through the night. And the other one, Bhagavan, please, dog don't stop bark all night, I can't sleep. If Bhagavan had time to listen to those kind of prayers and fulfill them, every teacher would be dead also, because there is always one student in every class who's praying, Bhagavan, please, make my teacher sick today. Please, remove Shina. Correct or not? I have to say, I said some prayers to Bhagavan like that when I was small. Good thing he didn't listen. So, Bhagavataha bhaktir dridhad yatam, which develops such unwavering devotion to the Lord, born of us seeing Him pervading all people's situations and things, that capacity to recognize His current presence everywhere is a result of thinking. There is another way to develop such bhakti, and that is through not thinking, but blind belief. You can feign, pretend that you have the same sort of bhakti as a great sadhu who has spent time really deeply looking at different things in this universe. Simply by being a dodo head, not thinking, and believing something. Okay? I believe that if I do X, Y, Z, Bhagavan will bless me and everything will be fine. And I don't think about it. I don't care if it's right or wrong. I don't want to hear anything else. I will believe. That type of thing. Such people who hold strongly to such superstitious belief get loud demonstrations and pangs of love where everybody in the whole can hear them sing their bhajan and all that. It is a beginning step, but it is not it again very, very green bhakti. And you can just test whether or not that is real bhakti. Because when that same person gets difficult situations in life, they get angry and mean and like any other normal person, where all the bhakti gone? So, we do not have in Sanatana Dharma a strong tradition of blind belief. In fact, where there are people who say, just listen to what I'm telling you, you don't have to think, believe only, and God will bless you and all that, you please be very, very skeptical. Because they're trading on your lack of thinking. They're trading on your superstition. And in doing that, they require you to stultify and keep ignorant your own capacity. It is not healthy, full, ripe bhakti as envisioned in Sanatana Dharma. Be wary, is what the rishis always tell about such people. This is how devotion becomes firm. And like that, time has gone again. We've only seen 2 sadhanas today. Spend time in satsang and develop firm, unwavering bhakti to the Lord. After that, well, we'll have to see. This class goes on every week on Monday, verse by verse, word by word explanation, with hopefully relevant examples and that sort of thing. Chima Mission, Guyana, has classes almost every day going on, and on various scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, and these introductory texts like Sadhana Panchakam from Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya. We have camps and programs for children. We have courses in various aspects of Sanatana Dharma. We have youth programs going on where just youth come and play games and have fun. Just this past weekend, there was a great youth get-together at the ashram. So please check out the Facebook page for more information. As the 2026 year rolls around, so many new programs will be announced. Right? Hari Om to everyone. See you again soon. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Hari Om everyone.